All right, welcome back, everybody. I just wanted to hop on here and continue on with the whole contentment idea following the most recent video that I put out, which got 2 views. All right, I will take the 2 views. Um, Also, I mean, it's probably pretty apparent, but these videos I put out are, I do have some sort of thumbnail with them. Um, Most of the time, it's ironic. The uh, the actual, like, just general thumbnail that's selected by YouTube's actually not the worst. I think sometimes they're, I think, pretty funny just in relation to the video. But anyhow, so obviously I put out the "You played what on what" contentment and video games, and that was talking about video games and being able to play more games on pretty much just like max, or not max settings, but pretty much being able to play video games on uh, not like super high crazy settings, but being able to actually play the games even if your hardware is not the best, right? So that was what that one was about. That's actually it's the second thumbnail that I've made, and yeah, so that was pretty fun venturing into thumbnail land a bit more. And yeah, I don't know, I might they're 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 not as perhaps artistic as I've seen some people, but I think I like the aesthetic in some sense, because it's just like, this is very rough, and maybe it'll need some rebranding in the future, but I'm enjoying the process of these thumbnails not looking like super good. um, Plus, I think too, I would like, it would have to probably be um, someone else maybe doing the thumbnails, or picking topics or something for me to talk about on here and have those things present. With that being said, I did want to hop on here and talk a little bit about my YouTube setup, I suppose, and uh, I guess a little bit about my like gaming setup, and my office workspace type deal, which is currently a bit messy, but that is okay. With all that being said, the phone or the camera that I'm using is actually a Pixel 3a, and that is, let's see, Pixel 3a specs. So this is a phone from, wow, was it really only, what? In 2019, I guess I did. That was probably the first time I bought a newer phone. Not really quite. Wow, that was announced in May, and I think I got it in. I think I got it in 2020. I want to say. So that's a trip. So granted, the phone that I was upgrading from was a Motorola. That was like a Motorola. I've gotten less and less interested in flagships as time has gone on, but it was like a Motorola E something, Motorola like E6, I think. Yeah, that sounds right. And yeah, let me actually double check. E6. Yeah, so I originally had a Motorola E6, or no, it was something else. it's like a Moto, like maybe it was like an E4 or something like that. But it was a pretty, yeah, it looks like it was like a Moto yeah, it was a Moto E4, which was a pretty basic phone. It was not terrible. I think it functioned just fine. It was definitely not the best build quality. Granted, I probably did put it through its paces, but it was definitely not the best build quality. So being able to upgrade to something like a Pixel 3a is notably better, especially because I would, I play games on my phone, and having some sort of CPU GPU combo was nice, or is nice, because it allows me to play some of those games, and it's not as though I have played them particularly consistently, but they are nonetheless things I like to have on my phone. So with that being said, I did get this Pixel 3a back in like 2019, 2020 when my wife and I were still dating, and from there it ended up being where I really didn't use this for all that much video wise. I did shoot some dance videos, but it wasn't anything of significance where I used maybe all of the features of the phone. Like now I'm actually shooting using the 4K resolution that's available on the 12 megapixel rear facing camera. And yeah, so, and it also has a 3000 milliamp hour battery, which I think at some point I might need to change that in particular. If anyone's interested in seeing a video where I work on that, I'd love to do so. I will also just recommend the fact that iFixit also has videos on there, but if you like my commentary, then by all means I wouldn't mind doing so on here as well. Another nice thing with this Pixel is that it does have fast charging. It has the 18 watt charge port, and it's USB-C, which is really, I think USB-C wasn't the biggest thing for me, because when it comes to USB-C, it's just, it's it's just another connector to me. I think it's more of a marketing move than anything, and really an aim at maintaining the Western dollar, because people want simpler and easier and all of that, which I don't inherently disagree with completely. Because whenever I literally, it's a small less, it's one of the little things where it's one little less of a stress being able to just plug it in and not have to worry about which direction. It's like a laptop, an AC plug. So I think that is pretty nice. It does have Dragon Trail glass, which is, I think, really just a step below Gorilla Glass. If I recall correctly, it is Dragon Trail glass. There we go. So Dragon Trail glass is actually, according to androidauthority.com, Dragon Trail glass is, where is that? So Dragon Trail glass, there's a hardness scale that I just saw. Okay, so it looks like Gorilla Glass has a rating between 590 and 651, according to Corning's product sheet, which Corning is the glass manufacturer. And then Dragon Trail manufacturer Asahi Glass claims its glass has a Vickers hardness of between 595 and 673. So if anyone out there is curious as to maybe you go, I don't know, maybe you go hiking a lot, it might be beneficial for you to get a phone with Dragon Trail glass over Gorilla Glass, just to submit that to you all. And then really just continuing off of that, there's a few other things. So it's not currently on screen because it's actually the lens, but I do have this cheap, well, I mean, it was free. I ended up getting this camera lens system. This is actually a fisheye lens, which I've used before with dance videos. But I've used this and I've posted it, or I've posted videos with it on Instagram, I believe. And then I just have an OtterBox case, which I might have to get a replacement for at some point because the rubber is falling apart and the charge port is unprotected. So I might have to do that at some point in time. And yeah, I mean, outside of that, take this tripod and in there. So I have a 720p monitor that I got from a friend. I literally paid him $1. For those who don't know, that is a reference from SpongeBob, where was it Patrick? I can't remember, but Patrick, like, he's like, "Oh, I'll give you $1," and then I think he was buying something. I'll give you $1. So I think it was, I'll give you $1, or I have $3. I think it was for, yeah, it was for something. I don't recall, but for someone out there, maybe you're watching, please put in the comments because I don't actually remember. And then down here we have a course, or it's the desktop rig I built. For the most part, I bought everything used. I ended up getting the power supply and the case new. The case is actually inspired by Ozzy Talks Hardware. Shout out to him. I believe I shouted him out on Instagram as well, but I appreciate his content and it helped me not feel bad about having older stuff. I think it was a good reminder or nudge to have, like, having older hardware isn't the worst thing in the world. For instance, I have an i5 6600K, and that is, yeah, I'll just go through the specs since I already kind of went through it. Maybe in another video with this I'll end up making, maybe tomorrow's video will be a breakdown on this particular desktop. But yeah, so 6600K, and then it has a GTX 760. It's got two 8GB sticks of DDR4. I believe it's running at 3200 megahertz. I was thinking I might go AMD, and so I decided to get that speed because I thought it made the most sense. And then a 750 watt Antec, I think Neo Eco Gold, Gold Plus, or 80 Gold
80 plus, what is it? 80 plus gold, there we go, rated power supply. Uh, because at the time I had like a 980 and stuff. So, and older cards, for those who don't know, like older flagships tend to be more power hungry than the newer flagships. So if you have an older flagship card,
it might be because you you have an older flagship card and they consume more energy. And then I also have a little Xbox controller for playing games. But yeah, just continuing off of that, the whole premise with the build and why I want to make this video is that, you know, I don't have, and I'm sure to people that watch YouTube, is that I don't have like some super high level like rig or anything. I just have I have a Pixel, but it's the cut down like budget version, right? And then I have a 720p monitor, the desktop, and the yeah, and then that's pretty much it. So it's not really super, I think, outlandish to be able to make videos on the phone that you have currently. And you know, I guess I am just repeating the energy, I guess, of those from like Think Media, like Sean Cannell and his whole team. But you know, it's still possible to be able to, you know, just really make something, you know, even if I like shot a 4K like movie, right? If I shot a 4K movie on my phone and then went and I don't know, and edited it on my desktop, like it would still be possible to have it edited, chopped up, everything, and it be just, you know, easily put together. And I think for people like out there, like first and foremost, your phone can edit things. Granted, it won't necessarily get things done necessarily as quickly as if you did it on your desktop, but you have access to being able to edit and have everything on your phone, right? And really, you can take that, and if you don't want to edit on your phone, or if you want to have an easier workspace, right? And this is, I guess this isn't really for people that are already aware of this. This is really just for people that maybe just don't know, you know, maybe don't believe that that's possible. I mean, I guess I'm trying to instill in you all that it is. And, you know, I guess some people can also be like, well, you know, it's like, there's already so many people out there. And it's like, well, to be fair, I think there's already so many people, you know, at like, there's already so many people that are set up to work on any which thing. You know what I mean? Like there are people that are already set up and positioned in such a way to work traditional jobs, right? And to have that traditionality be the way that they earn income. And maybe you are a traditional person. Maybe you're working a 9 to 5 and you don't believe that you could possibly move on to YouTube and earn money this way, as well, right? And there's also, the possibility of, or there's also just, what? Like, the whole premise of maybe you've tried traditional and you're like, this doesn't work. Then you can come on to like YouTube. Like, and I think it's funny because we can get so caught up in like, and myself included, we can get so caught up in traditionality versus untraditionality that we forget that it's work, right? Like they're all like, it's all collectively work. Not necessarily good or bad, but it's all collectively work. And that definitely is something that, is where people can kind of get, I guess, caught up and not really want to pursue things because then it's, and then it's like, oh, more work, right? Which I can understand. And I'm not going to go too far deeply into that. But overall, I just wanted to submit to you all, and I think especially with holidays coming up and things potentially getting like hyper capitalistic, or people wanting to buy more because they don't have as much money and whatnot, that you don't really need too much. Like if my if my wife and I have like, if we don't do gifts or something, then, well, I'm aiming at, her birthday's in December, so, but just overall, I think it's one of those things where you have an option of, okay, maybe this year isn't as Christmassy, right? Maybe we can't give as many gifts this year, which was very much so how our year was last year before last year no year before, dang, we've been here 2 years, shoot. And yeah, I think just being able to understand and come to the conclusion that it's better having more resources or more, and I feel like I'm telling on myself. I think it's better to have more income streams than not, right? Yeah, which can be tough. And it's like, what does that necessarily look like, right? That I can't answer. It's going to be different for all of you, and it's going to be something where you have to find it outside of yourself before it can reside within your being. Yeah, so, but feel free to ask questions. I'll do my best to answer those in the comments. How long is this video? I kind of want to, okay, 23 minutes, dang. I'm trying to keep these not super long, just because it can get really outlandish sometimes. Yeah, 21 minutes. But yeah, and I'll leave you all with this, just as an encouragement, or maybe a rebolstering for those who are feeling the pressures of Black Friday and everything that comes with the holiday season in terms of wanting to buy things. And I should probably memorize where this actually is, but that is okay. It says you only need 4 income sources to get rich. That's, I believe it, to be honest. And also, I will say that contentment is probably better than actual money coming in. And sometimes I think we forget that resources, like you can literally have, well, I was going to say you can literally have certain resource in relation to people, but people are not the ultimate resource, but they are a good, well, no, people are the ultimate resource, for sure. For sure. Because people will, you know, that's, yeah, there's a whole, anyhow, that's a whole, there's a sermon out there for somebody. But yeah, so this says, invest in 7 ventures, yes, and 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. And that's Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 2. Or it also says, but divide your investments among many places, for you do not know what risks might lie ahead. And I think it's just, you know, I think it's important to note that we have an opportunity to be able to build things, particularly here in the United States, I'm sure. But we have the opportunity to build things like YouTube, right? Or businesses or whatever here on this platform, and actually be able to benefit from, also, excuse me, but benefit from the you know, from the opportunities that are available, especially, I mean, particularly freedom of speech right now, which hopefully that is, you know, it'll be interesting to see what becomes of things in this nation, to put it ambiguously. So yeah, and then that's, I think, really just all I wanted to touch on. Hopefully you all found some value in this. Hopefully you all are well. I don't know that I'll keep this being Mustard Seed Technologies, but if I don't, it was at least a good jumping off point for me getting into future videos. So yeah, but hopefully you all enjoyed, and hopefully you found it helpful, and just praying that really that verse like sticks in, you know. And like literally it might be something like you might work somewhere and all you do is get free food, but that's, you know, that's free food, right? Like, don't count everything so monetarily that you don't, that, you know, that you miss out on the resource within that. I think that's the last thing. So yeah, that's that's what I just want to put out there for y'all, and hopefully you enjoy. So also, since I haven't done this, I think in the last 2 videos, well, first and foremost, check out that last video if you want to hear on more about contentment, and also following that, go ahead and like that video, por favor, or please. And for those that are watching this video,